Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and those who are new to this channel, kindly make sure that you subscribe to this channel for the latest tech updates and the tech knowledge. So remember, we had started our 7 days to data science course in which I would be teaching Python for the absolute beginners, and I have made a playlist of that in my YouTube channel, and you can access that playlist from the playlist section. You will find here the playlist of that 7 days data science for Python course, in which you will find the video starting from day 0 to day 7, and I must suggest you to watch the video from day 0 to day 7 in a series order, because starting from the middle can cause you many confusions. So in order to make your this journey very smooth as possible, so start it from day 0. Okay, don't jump into the days in between. So today is the day 5 of the 7 days to data science course. So let's jump into our Google Colab notebook without any delay. So those who don't know what Google Colab is and how to they have to make the file in it. So just make sure that you watch the day 0 video. In that I have shown how you create the Google Colab file and you work with it. So today is the day 5, and until now we have been just reading the data. So today we will be seeing the data, and see data, it starts telling stories to you. So humans are not really good at reading the numbers, but humans are excellent at seeing the picture. So that's why data scientists draw graphs. So if I tell you like some numbers, some random numbers like 10, 20, 40, 60, 10, so really works hard. But if I show you a picture, okay, then your brain understands instantly. Okay, so this is the growth, this is not growing. Okay, through the line chart and all, you are able to detect that is your profit growing or not. Okay, or is it stable? So visualization is a great help in seeing the data. So we will use two tools today. One is the Matplotlib, which is the drawing pencil of the Python, and the second is the Seaborn, that is referred to as the coloring brush of the Python. So just like we imported pandas as PD and NumPy as NP in our previous day's lectures, so today we will be importing Matplotlib in the same manner. So I will be writing import matplotlib dot pyplot as PLT. So we will be referring to matplot. Okay, it's a spelling mistake, guys. Okay, so we will be referring to as the PLT whenever we have to call the library of the matplotlib. We will be calling it as PLT. Okay, so this will bring the matplotlib, and the matplotlib helps to Python to draw. So let's start with the simplest example today. So imagine that you have planted a plant in your school or in a backyard or anywhere. Okay, then you go to the plant every day and measure that height each day. Okay, so like for the first day you measured the height at 2 centimeter, then second day you measured the height as 4 centimeter, so on, like you measured it for 5 days. So we can visualize this with the help of a line chart. Okay, that is our tree really growing or not. Okay, so we will be studying today. First is the line chart. So let's create a database for you, like for the 5 days you went. Okay, so we will be writing like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and each day you measured the height of the plant. So height would be for the 5 days, it was like first day it was 2, then 4, then 7, then 11, and then 16. Okay, so in this manner we have created a database for our line chart. Now let's just visualize this. Okay, so it's very simple. It's a very simple English. Like we will first call the matplotlib by the name PLT. Then we have to plot the line chart. So we will be writing plot. Then on the x-axis we want the days. Okay, so we will be writing days. Then on the y-axis we want height of the plant. So we will be writing height. Okay, then we will be simply writing plt dot show that we are telling the notebook. Okay, now I have given you all the details. Now just show me the plot. Okay, now just run this cell and see how easily you have created a line chart of your plant's height. So any unknown person can tell, like who don't know the backstory of your plant and all, can tell you that okay, this is really growing. But have you ever wondered, like, this graphs, looks so mysterious without labels? Like, a person who doesn't know about that you are going to measure the height of the plant and all, he will be just so confused that what are the numbers on x-axis represent and what the numbers on the y-axis represent. So so it's a very really good practice always to label your graph. So for labeling the graph, it's also very simple. For example, in on the x-axis you have plot the days. Okay, so you will be writing plt dot x label because you are giving the label to the x-axis, and you will be writing days. Okay, then for the y, on the y-axis you have plotted the height. Okay, so for that you will be writing plt dot y label, and you will be writing height. Okay, because you have plotted height on the y-axis. Okay, then it's a good practice to give title to the graph, so that you know that what the graph is all about. So I have write it like plt dot title. Okay, then it's like plant growth over days. So I'm writing that. So, the title of the graph will tell you that what the graph is all about. Okay. So, it can be, if the title is not given, a person could imagine that it is the height of a person or height of anything. So, giving a title to your graph is always a good practice. So, see how simple it was to, plot the graph and visualize your data. And if you have, followed each step, you will be able to do this really quick. Okay. So the next thing we're going to study today is bar chart. I am assuming that all of you have, once drawn a bar chart in your, smaller classes. Like on the green paper, you had this, green graph paper, and you used to draw the graphs. So we will be doing that the same, but today we are going to do that in Python. So imagine some students, and there's a student, for example, we have a set of students. We have like A, the second student is B, the third student is C, and the fourth student, let's say it's D. Okay, then they gave an exam and they got certain marks. So let the first student marks be 85, then 95, then 56, and okay, I think my numlog is not on. That's why I'm. Okay, so these students, have given the exam and they got certain marks on the basis of that. So let's write their marks like 85, 95, 56, and 78. Okay, there are four students, so I have given the 4 marks. Okay, so okay, there is something value error. Okay, I have inserted a comma by mistake here. Okay, now this is good to go. Okay, so now we have to plot the bar chart. So this is very simple. So plt dot bar, because we are plotting the bar chart, and remember I told you, like, first we write the name of the variable which we plot, which we want to plot on the x-axis. So we are plotting students on the x-axis and marks on the y-axis. Okay, so we will be writing that, and we will writing like plt dot show, then hit shift and enter, and see your marks of the students are given in the form of the bar chart. So you, by seeing this graph only, one can tell, okay, so B is the most studious student, he has got the highest marks, C has got the lowest marks. So one can easily tell looking at the graphs. Okay, so this is the scenario, and take decisions effectively. So each bar is one student, and the taller bar means the higher value. So just let's just give the title of this graph as students marks. Okay, students marks, and the x-axis already has name of the student, so it's understood that is the name of the student. Let's give the label to our y, that is the mark. Okay, now it's look, now it look pretty good as compared to earlier. So this is one of the most used charts in when you're visualizing the data. So remember that you practice it nicely. Okay, so next chart we're gonna study about is the histogram, and this is the interviewers favorite question, histograms. Okay, so this is something very powerful, and it is one of the interview favorite questions also. So let me explain you with the help of a story. Okay, so imagine measuring heights of 100 people. Okay, you measure the height of like hundreds of people, but we don't care about names. Like, we don't want to know the names of the person, we only care about the distribution of the heights. So let's take the heights of few people. Obviously I cannot write the heights of all the 100 people, so let's just take the height of the handful of people. So let me write the height. Okay, so let's just take the heights of few people. So let me write the heights of few people. Obviously, I cannot write the height of all the 100 people. So just let's take the height of the handful of people. Okay, to understand the distribution and how the histogram works. Okay, so let's just make the data first. 175, 180, 182. Okay, let's just take 185 too. Okay, so this is our data, and now we want to plot the histogram. And think logically, just pause the video for a second and think logically, like what should we write in our code? Like for the line chart, we wrote plot dot plt dot plot. For bar chart, we wrote like plt dot bar. So what will be writing for the histogram? We will be writing plt dot hist. Okay, then we want to plot the heights of the people. Okay, right, we have only just one variable, there's no confusion in that, I think so. So we will be writing heights, and let's give title to this title. Then these are the height distribution, so we will be writing that height distribution, and then we will be writing like plt dot show. Okay, now just run this cell and see, we have got the height distribution of many people, and this shows where the most values lie. Like the most value, like the most of the people's height lie between 160 to 180 something basically, and few people height is 150 to 150 and 160s. Okay, so interviewers love this concept of a histogram, so make sure you practice it nicely. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna study about is our scatter plot. Okay, scatter plot. Okay, now let's find the relationship. Basically, scatter plot is for finding the relationship between the two variables. So the two variables here which we are gonna take is study marks and study hours and marks. Okay, so let's just take let's make our data for the scatter plot. Let's take it as like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now let's just take the marks of the students as 50, 60, 70, 85, and 90. Okay, this is the data. So again, I would suggest you to just pause the video for a while and think for it once, like what I'm gonna write for the scatter plot. Like for the bar chart, you wrote dot bar. For the histogram, you wrote dot his. For the scatter plot, we will be writing plt dot scatter. Okay, that was so simple, right? So on the x-axis of the scatter plot, we want our hours, and for the y-axis of a scatter plot, we want the marks. So we will be writing these two variables, and let's just first let's just see this plot. Then after that, we will be writing the title and the labels of the graph. First, let's just see this. Okay, so this is a scatter plot, what the scatter plot looks like. See, you can see like for if a student is studying for 1 hour, he is getting 50 marks. So he has shown that 1 hour 50 marks. If the student is studying for 2 hours, he is getting 60 marks. So see, for the 2 hours is 60 marks. Now let's just give the title to this scatter plot, because it looks so mysterious this way. So these are the these are basically study versus marks, and on the axis we have study hours, and on the y-axis we have the marks. Okay, now let's just run this. See, now it's looking so beautiful, right? We are like able to distinguish like where are the study hours labeled, where are the marks labeled. Okay, so each dot is represented as one student, and the dots going up means positive relationship. If these dots were going down, this means a negative relationship, but in this case the dots are going up, so this indicates a positive relationship between the study hours of the students and the marks. So, this was all about the Matplotlib. There are various graphs, of course, in the Matplotlib, but these were the main or the core of the Matplotlib. So, I mean, these are the mostly used graphs on the matplotlib, so I have shown it only the mostly used. Now, without any further delay, let's just move on to our next library, which is the Seaborn. So Seaborn is like the styles, and Seaborn, make the graph looks professional. So we have to again import the Seaborn into our notebook as SNS. So we are, importing our Seaborn as SNS, and whenever we want to use the Seaborn library, we will be calling it with the name of SNS. Okay. So let's first create a data frame for the Seaborn, okay, so that we can plot efficiently. Okay, so Seaborn with pandas is like the magic moment. So let's import pandas also, import pandas as PD, and let's just create the data frame to be visualized, which we can visualize. So df is equals to PD dot. So I'm taking basically pandas now just to revise your concept around the data frame and the pandas, so that uh, I'm sure that you're not have forgotten that. Okay, so let's just take the hours of the students as, okay, let me just copy the hours of the student. Why do write it again? Okay, so write it like hours is, I could have write like in the previous way also, but I'm just writing this so that you are, just to make sure that you have not forgotten the concept of, the data frame and all. Okay, so and below that I'm taking marks and just copy this. Okay, so in this way our data frame is created for the pandas. Now let's just draw the scatter plot with the help of the Seaborn. Okay, so creating the plot with the Seaborn just requires one line of code. Okay, in Matplotlib, like we wrote too many lines. No, in the Seaborn we just have to write just one code line of code, and we are good to go. Okay, so how do we do that? So first we will call the Seaborn like SNS with the name of SNS. Then SNS dot scatter plot. Here we, if we want to draw the scatter plot, we have to write the full name as scatter plot. Then we have to mention what we want on the x axis and what we want on the y axis. Okay, so x axis we want hours. Okay, and on y axis we want marks, right? And the data which we are using is df. Remember, we have made a data frame with the name of df, so the data we are using is df, and that's it. This is just good to go. Now just run this cell and see your scatter plot will be plotted. See, the same scatter plot is plotted, and we don't have to, write many lines of code, and we have done this, in a single line only. Okay, so it's just the same data but better visuals. Basically, we just have to, write one line of code. That's it. So let's study one more important concept, and this is the, most used, I can say, graphs while doing our EDA to find the basically outliers. And those who are confused like what outliers are, so let me just tell you this. Like, the uh, like people say like India has like 60% of their wealth in just 4 to 5 hands of the people. Suppose okay, let's take a very simple example. Suppose you went to a cafe, okay? So every one of your friends had, just contributed 100 rupees, but one of your rich friend contributed to 500 rupees. So, all the people who contributed 100 rupees are uh, in the same group, but the person contributing 500 is, the outlier. He has extra, so he is the only one person contributing an extra amount. So he is like an outlier to your data. Okay. So that is what, basically outliers mean. Okay. So now let's just plot our box plot without any delay. So we take the scores of, various persons, like we take like 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, and 90. Okay, these are various scores of the people. So let's just plot the box plot. It's so simple. I will write just one line of code and you will say how easy it was. Okay, so we'll call like SNS dot, and we will be writing like box plot, and inside that scores. See, simple was that to plot the box plot. Okay, now these scores are basically of the same range, and if I put a score, suppose 200. Okay, okay, I have not 200. Okay, So see, this is the extra person. This is an outlier to your data. This is, creating noise in your data. So while doing the ADA, na, you usually, remove this outlier from your data. And this box plot, okay, let me just remove this 200 so that I can make you understand how to read the box plot basically, okay. So this middle one shows the middle value, and this blue box showed the spread, and the 200 which I showed you is the outlier. So outliers are basically, suspicious values. For example, you have, conducted a survey, and you ask the uh, age of, various people, but when you look at the data, you find the age, some of the people have the age of 0, which can't happen actually. So that is an outlier to your data and can cause noise. So we have to, remove that rows while doing our EDA or the exploratory data analysis, okay. So now let's count the things, okay. So the next concept which we are going to study is the count plot, okay. So let's take various cities for that to count the cities, okay. So I will be take various cities and I will be repeating that so that I can count the number of cities, okay. So I will be taking Delhi, Mumbai, okay. Then again let's take Delhi, and then let's take Chennai, and then let's take again Delhi, and let's take again then Mumbai, okay. So this count categories now automatically count the categories. So basically, see here you are able to see, here you were able to count the number of times Delhi occurred and number of times Mumbai occurred because the data size is so small. But in the real world data, you cannot count manually. So you use this plot just to visualize. And if you're gonna, look at the data, you cannot look at 20,000 or the 5,000 rows and columns. So we just visualize the data, and from that we can know like what is the count of each word, okay. So SNS dot count plot, because it is a count plot, and then we will simply write as cities. See how simple it was. See, so the Delhi has occurred 3 times, Mumbai has occurred 2 times, and Chennai has occurred 1 time. So that's, this is very useful kind of graph in the real data set, okay. So how do you change, so let's discuss a very important thing. So how do you choose a graph? Okay, you have studied various graphs, a number of graphs. So how do you choose that which graph would you should draw? So we draw the line plot whenever there is a change over time, okay. We draw a bar chart whenever there is a comparison. We draw a histogram whenever there is a distribution, okay. Then we draw a scatter plot when we want to find the relationship in our data, that is it a positive relationship or it is a negative relationship. Then we draw the box plot when we want to know the spread of the data and outliers of the data. Then we draw the count plot to when we are given the when we want to find the categories of the data, that how many categories are there. So choosing the right graph is also a game of intelligence, okay, I must say. So just pause the video, or okay, so I wanna give you an assignment. So I want you to do an assignment in which you have to, you just try this, okay. You have to create a data set, okay. Just create a data set, then uh, draw one bar chart, okay. Just create a data set, draw one bar chart, and then let's say draw a scatter plot also. Draw a scatter plot, and draw a histogram maybe. Basically, you must draw every graph, okay, because you're new to this. So just try to draw every graph, create a data frame, and draw every graph. And if this worked, and if you're able to do this, you are great at visualizing the data. So just clap for yourself. You have learned how to visualize the data, and you can, just now do the EDA, okay, EDA part. So today, what we learned? Today we learned about how to turn numbers into the pictures, pictures that explain the data, pictures that impress the interviewers, and tomorrow we will combine everything. So day 6 is all about putting all this together. So we will analyze the data like professionals. Okay. So if you practice along with me, come in day 5 done and see you in day 6. So just like my video, subscribe my channel and do not forget to hype my video just to keep me motivated, and meet you at day 6 with more fun coding experience. Till then, bye bye.